What's up, everybody? Welcome back to All Things Nerdy. We did have a guest today. We no longer have a guest today. They got sick, unfortunately. Hope they get well soon. But y'all are going to be stuck with me and Joe today. We're going to be chatting, chilling, hanging out. Happy New Year's to everybody. Today, we're going to kind of look back on the podcast, some of the episodes that we did, what we liked, some of the stuff we did personally. Kind of what our resolutions are coming up for the new year, what we want to do, things we want to implement, things that are happening in our life. And all that. It should be a fun show. If anybody stops in, say what's up. Let us know your resolutions, and we'll come back to mention this several times and all that. But with that, Joe.
Yep. So, unfortunately, you guys won't be able to hear about giant lizards today. But we did reschedule that person for the 1st of February. They're feeling a little bit better, so I think they're feeling okay, and still super stoked to get to learn about giant lizards later this year. But definitely excited to talk about kind of the start of our podcast and where we've gone with it. Just kind of some of the personal stuff that we've done throughout the year. But without further ado, Nate, let's talk nerdy.
Let's talk nerdy. So, man, 2023 was a crazy year personally, professionally, all kinds of different things. I mean, Joe, for you sold your house. I sold my house. You bought a house on the lake. I, went to Europe and then moved to New York and all kinds of crazy shit. And then I put like a little Instagram reel together today. I didn't realize how much I traveled in 2023. And then I was like, dang, son, it was amazing. But
we got Adam in here, says, what's up? Trying not to leave you hanging on Call of Duty.
What up? I'll be there. As soon as this cast is over, I'm jumping on. We're going to run some games, get some dubs. It'll be a good time. What up, Marshman? Thanks for jumping in, buddy.
Yeah.
But Joe, let's talk a little bit about the podcast first, man. Let's talk about some of the episodes. Why did we start doing this, Joe? Like,
dude,
let's just let everybody know that.
Yeah. So shout out to Taylor Desson, because like he's like a podcast machine. He made a resolution like last year before to do one every day, and he has stuck to it. And then he invited us on one, just as part of his team to kind of showcase like, hey, these are the guys on my team. Well, me and Nate, we were just on the podcast. We're like, what, we really like this. Like we just started talking offline. We're like, let's do one. But then we had to go through the whole like, okay, now we know we want to do this because we've like got the bug and we've tasted it. Like, but we're like, well, what do we want to do? So we like Nate, like, you want to give them some insight of like how that conversation went, just back and forth of like, no, let's do this, or no, what about this?
Yeah. So we were so torn on all of our different options. We were talking like, well, we had to come up with a name, and then we're like, well, the name is going to depend on what we talk about. But then like, we were just torn. We couldn't decide, like, do we want to do anime? Do we want to do magic? Do we want it? Which at the time I hadn't done a lot of anime. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say about it. Right. Like, do we want to do like D&D? Do we want to stick to like nerd things? We knew, like, did we want to do something professional because we both work in the recruiting industry? I'm on the sales side, relationship side. Joe is on the leader side with like recruiting and all that. We're like, do we want to do that? But there's like a million of those on LinkedIn, and we're like, well, people don't want to just hear me and Joe every day. So we came up with the idea, what if we had a guest on, and instead of like just doing nerd things, we're like, what if we just open it up? Because you can nerd out about anything, and this is the whole purpose of this podcast, right? You can nerd out about anything. So we have had the pleasure of talking to some amazing people about awesome things: birds of prey, movies, magic, right? D&D, disc golf, barbecue, like anything you can, harmonicas, right? Like being a Jedi or something, like the one dude, I don't know.
We've talked about wrestling, both Olympic and professional WWE style wrestling. Like we've learned a lot about a lot of different things, and it's been super awesome. And that was part of our goal too, was like not just like you can nerd out about anything, but it was part of like our motto is like bring personality to profile, right? Like that was like one of our slogans, like tell us something about who you really are. And when someone gets on the show and they start talking about something that they're super passionate about, you can see that, like you can see like in the way they speak and the way they're talking, like it's no longer just like, hey, this has got somebody's picture on a LinkedIn or a Facebook profile or whatever social media they're on. It's more of like, look, you could see how passionate they are about whatever topic it may be.
And and it's hard to find a platform to talk about the things you love with people who are usually genuinely interested in what you're talking about, right? So the fact that we provide that platform for people to come on and nerd out about anything, and you don't have to be an expert. It can just be something you enjoy or something you like and all that. So like it for us, it was just so cool. It was such a cool concept, and it's been really well received, right? The biggest issue we've had is the fact that our topics change every week. It's hard for everybody to be like, I want to listen to this and this and this.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we have fun with it, and that's kind of how we landed on what we do now, which is we usually have a guest and we talk about whatever topic they so choose, and then we just like nerd out about it for 30, 45 minutes and get to share it with everybody.
Yep. We did learn like it was actually like a guest had like canceled. They had to reschedule, and so it was just me and Nate on there, and we did an episode. I can't remember. It was like during the summer, and then we got really good feedback on that. It's like, hey, you guys should do that more often. So that's when we decided, like, hey, once a month, like, let's just do me and you, like, have an episode just me and you. We'll pick a topic or whatever, and so that's how it shows some progression through. Like, we've adjusted like our video and sound quality, our strategy, like that kind of stuff. And looks like we got a comment from Timothy. Oh, that's a nice one. Timothy says fun. So I mean, that's what this is all about, is fun. Like, we're having fun with it. Like, we're not here to make a profit, that kind of thing. It looks like Nathan is also getting attacked in the comments. Some New Year's resolutions that he needs to focus on is making sure he tells his friends when he's there in town. And those are all things need to work on. And then Timothy says fun is for all yields the best results. Like, and yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we do it. That's why we show up. We've done this. This is our 43rd episode, and we've only missed like 1 or 2 weeks. And I think each week we've missed is because I've been like traveling on a plane delayed, because every flight is delayed these days, and things of that nature. But yeah, it's been great. Also, going back to Marshman's comment, technically I did let y'all know I was in town. That's how we all ended up going to get dinner. It was just late. So, but you did know.
With fair warning, maybe you could put an asterisk on that, like fair warning. But yeah, I mean, we both got super cool mics, better cameras, like super high quality cameras, that kind of stuff. Let me see. 44th will be an all timer.
The 44th will be good. I'm excited.
That's Brandon, right?
The 44th and the 45th are both going to be good. So the next few, the whole lineup. So on our LinkedIn page, if you go follow it, we have the lineup of all the upcoming guests. Thanks, Joe, for keeping track with that. But we have a guy that's joining us, I think, next week, which will be the 44th. So I think the LinkedIn user's probably Ben, and he's talking about the 45th, but whatever. The 44th is going to be all about travel, and this dude has done some crazy things. He was referred to me from a friend of mine, which I'm a big travel guy, and he said, Nate, like, y'all could probably compete with travel stories, and I cannot wait to have him on here. And then the 45th one, Ben, me and Ben go way, way back. I'm talking like he was probably like a kid, long time. And so
it is Ben. It shows up LinkedIn user when you have like some privacy settings set on LinkedIn. But our lineup for the next few weeks is next week we do have Ben Grenaway, and then the week
it is Ben next week.
Yeah, the week after that is Eric talking about travel. Then we have Gabriella Burst the week after that, and then February 1st we have Kat Tiller talking about giant lizards.
So the 44th is going to be great, and it's going to be about being. I don't know if we have since age 11, right? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about, but it's going to be a good one. I don't think we've landed on a topic. We're deciding between like Bitcoin, Baldur's Gate 3, which Joe now plays Baldur's Gate as well. So like we could definitely like go on about Baldur's Gate.
I would be down. I've only gotten through Act 1, but I mean that's probably enough to talk for like 6 hours on just alone. But I won't go too deep into that, because if we end up talking about that next week, then I don't want to throw that off. But next week's episode should be super exciting then.
Yeah. So Joe, let's look back a little bit, man. Of all the episodes we've done, which has been your favorite?
Yeah, that's so hard. You better have the answer prepared after I finish this.
I do. I have one already.
I almost want to say the Birds of Prey, just because like I still like feel my like belly laugh like from her doing the actual like call, and it was so spot on and so good. And it was like one of the early episodes, so it just like kind of cemented the fact that hey, we definitely have to keep doing this because it is like so fun. So it was like that one sticks out just because it was just so interactive, so fun. Got her to do the bird call, learned a ton about Birds of Prey that I never thought like I would need to know, that kind of stuff. But what about you?
So for me, mine has to be the very first one we did with Eli, because that is when I realized like, hey, how crazy smart Eli is with anime. And I just started my anime adventure way back in like February when we started doing this, and it has changed like so much of my life, right? Like I've started collecting figures and all kinds of like I've leaned into anime. I was watching anime before I jumped on this podcast. I was watching season 2 of Psycho Pass. So like just having that, I mean, we've even started doing a monthly anime episode that's a panel with me, you, Keaton, and Eli, right? That's we do like one night each month where we talk about different topics. Naruto part 2 coming up, you know, in January at some point. But
And the first anime episode, we were like, we'll keep it to an hour. 3 hours later, we're like, we have to cut this off. Ended up going 3.5 hours. We are like, all right, we have to get off right now.
yeah.
And then the second one, it was like, we'll keep it to an hour. We're at like an hour and a half. And I was like texting Nate, my wife is about to kill me, Nicole. And he was like, all right, we're cutting it. We're ending right now.
I think 4 people we need to allot like 2 hours, right? And if we end early, so be it. But
yeah.
say like, hey, we're gonna keep it within 2 for sure.
Yeah.
So, but the Birds of Prey one was so good. Carissa's ability to do the bird calls, man, I'll never forget that. That was crazy. Just everything I've learned. Like I had no idea about like Olympic wrestling. So I can't pronounce his name, Joniad.
Yeah, Janaya.
Like learning from him was awesome. I knew like talking with people about barbecuing. Like I love smoking meat and like, you know, doing briskets and ribs and stuff like that. So being able to just like talk back and forth about those things, Pokemon, like all kinds of different
Yep.
stuff. Like I've loved so much of this podcast, and it's been so fun doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And we've talked about shoes, which I had no idea anything about shoes. I was Googling the whole time, like looking up different like things you guys are referencing, but that's just all part of the awesomeness of the podcast. Is like most of the time I have a Google Chrome like tab open. I'm just like, what is this? Like, what are like Googling people are mentioning? And even with like we had Luke on, who's like, the COO of Spyglass, and he came on and talked about concerts because they kind of talked about the journey of going to the different concerts, and they was still like even then I was like I had the Google tab like who is this? Who are they talking about? Like, but it's definitely something fun. But let's see, we got a comment here from Timothy. Favorite Naruto characters? I'm about Rock Lee and Shikamaru myself. Oh, you just made
Timothy, my
so
guy.
proud.
Oh, yeah. So Rock Lee is the GOAT, right? Like, I mean, I love Rock Lee. He got cheated in the tuning fight, and then they just forgot to include him in Shippuden for whatever reason. I love Rock Lee. That dude is a boss.
Yeah.
Shikamaru is fantastic, but like I'm a Rock Lee guy. Love the dude through and through. Like I think he's great.
I think he's overrated just because Nate talks about him all the time. But Shikamaru is super awesome. But I think when I have to boil down my favorites, I would have to say it would be Jiraiya, which I got his pop up here behind me holding the 2 popsicles, just because of the relationship he had with Naruto and just being a goat. And then probably because of the character, like just the character growth. Why am I forgetting his name? What the heck? Sand guy.
Gara.
Gara. I don't know why I blanked on his name, but yeah, Gara would be my 2. Oh yeah, Gar. Oh, that looks so cool. You better send me that, man. No, I'm just kidding. But Stephanie says the haunted episode was cool as well. Yes, I remember the haunted attractions, and like I had added some to my bucket list that are actually in like Louisiana that I can actually get to. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited being up here in the Northeast now that we've moved to New York because we're crazy people. Like there's got to be some good ones up here somewhere. I need to hit her up and be like, I need your recommendations for New York.
Yeah. But yeah,
Uh,
Timothy says that Rock Lee is the GOAT.
yeah, no argument there.
And then
100%.
Ben says literally 20 years, but down for Baldur's Gate 3. Just beat it, but down for whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
I will say, like on Baldur's Gate 3, like I was looking up some stuff, and you could play it 18 times and never play the same game. That's pretty intense to me. But again, I'll shelf that for maybe next week
Yeah.
before we go down that path.
For anybody that's looking for a good game to get, go get Baldur's Gate 3. Game of the year. It's won more awards than I can count on one hand. It is amazing.
100%.
I've beat it twice, and I need to start a third playthrough. So,
wow,
yeah.
Man. But Nate, tell us a little bit about like your year in review. Like, I mean, yeah, you sold your house and traveled to Europe, traveled the world, that kind of thing. Like, did you learn any lessons from that? Like from your travels, what would be something that stuck out from lessons learned?
Man, lessons learned. Oh my gosh, that going without an itinerary is stressful, but almost freeing, right? Being able to do whatever you want when you want at the drop of a hat while traveling is so nice. When you don't have to wake up at 5 to get somewhere, or wake up at 8 every day to go do this, or we have to be here at this time. Like, if you can just go and enjoy your vacation, do it. Also, when you go on vacation in Europe, just understand that you are going to be walking forever.
That's pretty much the vacation equals walking. Like that's pretty much a given with any vacation you go on, right? Well, maybe if you're on a cruise ship, but I've never been, so I can't. But
Yeah.
we did have an episode on cruise ships, though, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was fun too.
We me and Promi just got a dub. All right, so
you
got the podcast going while you're playing Call of Duty. I like that,
dude. Let's go.
Then
Again.
Timothy says beginning of Act 2, Baldur's Gate 3 is rough. Hot tips. So I don't know if the beginning could be different depending on what you like, which pass you take, because you can go mountain pass or you can go underneath. Like,
Underdark, yeah.
Yeah, I went to the Underdark, and I will say like that first kind of like when you're in the inn and that dude kind of drops out of the sky and like wants to take a hostage, that kind of thing. Like,
what level are you? Also, spoilers. We don't know where this guy's at.
He said beginning of Act 2. Like that's literally the beginning. That's right when you walk in Act 2.
If we went mountain pass, like that could be a minute later. We don't know. Like it also depends on where you go. You don't have to go straight to the end.
Why would you not? You like get attacked and like follow me here, and I was like, okay, I'll follow you there. Like what? Yeah. See, he went to the Underdark, so he probably knows exactly what I'm talking about.
So, question for both of y'all is: what level are you? And did you do the Underdark all the way to the point where it tells you there's no return? Leave it. Do the mountain pass until it says point of no return, and then go back to the Underdark.
No, I'm not that far. Like I I did like that whole underground temple, like pretty much everything inside of there.
And you did the forge.
Yeah, I did the forge. I made like a plate for the goblin lady and a shield for Shadowheart. And then that's like when I went to the like Underdark where it says, hey, if you tie up any loose ends or whatever before you go here, that kind of thing. But I'm literally just getting into this. Like I walked in, had like the first little scene, and then made it to the end, and that's where I'm at.
Okay, so depending on the difficulty that you are playing, right, and then the setup of your party, did both the point of no return. So did I. I am a completionist. Like I went to. I did the forge first, and then I went to where it's like if you leave here, some things won't be done. I was like, no. So I went back and I did everything I could, and then I went all the way back to it. I'm
level 6, I think, which I mean, I pretty much scoured the entire first area and did everything that I could possibly do.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. What's funny is like you're talking about that. Is it Colrich? Is that how you say it? Colrich, something like that. The demon with the machine heart.
Oh God, I don't remember.
The one with the one horn that
Oh,
you were like,
Karlach.
yeah,
Karlach.
Carla. Yeah, Carla, you were saying that should be part of your party. I had no idea what you were talking about. Like I had done everything else except for that one tiny little corner where they were at. And I was like, oh, I haven't went there. So I went there and I was like, oh, this is the person that Nate said I should add to my party. Like I finally got them, even though I've pretty much completed everything else.
Karlach is amazing. Her character is
Yeah.
awesome. Also, can you pull up Marchman's for a second? I just want to answer that because if he gets it, I know Promi has it, and then like it would be amazing. So Marchman, you can have 4 people play it, and it's like D&D but video game world, and like it's amazing. Ask Promi. Promi has it. We played it. He hasn't finished it, but it's awesome.
Yeah. Do you have to finish before you can play multiplayer? Because it'd be awesome just to get a group together and just go through it. I guess does it level everybody? Like, so if you're level 10, I'm level 6. Like, how does that work?
No, so I would have to create a character for your game, and I would have to join your
Okay.
game specifically, and it would just put me in. But the biggest issue is knowledge is power, right? So like if I joined your game, even if I tried to play as stupid as I could, I know what's coming. And I also know the environmental plays, I know the secret hatches, I know all those things, right? So that's why I told you run through it once yourself, and then we can play a game together. But back to hot tips for the Underdark, depending on the level that you play, is save a lot, right? If you're not on there, don't, but save a lot. But then use your control spells, especially at the end. Your control spells are fantastic. Not all spells have to do damage.
So I would like it's the part where he comes to kidnap the Isabel, I think. All right. I saved right at the beginning of that battle, and I restarted every time until I beat him, and he did not kidnap her.
Also, you can stealth and things like that. So, like one of the guys, you can like go in and you can just assassinate him, right? Like you can kill him before he can do anything. But
I
yeah,
didn't know you could do that. Like that's pretty crazy.
so that's the thing about Baldur's Gate is none of it is set in stone for the most part. Like there's a few cutscenes that no matter what you do, you get right. And we're getting way off topic.
Right.
Also,
Well,
we're talking about this next week in depth.
Yeah.
But so like the thing, like you can change the whole game. Like if you do an evil playthrough, the whole point of the evil is almost how isolating it is because you miss like 80% of the game. But like that is the evil price that you pay.
Timothy says knowing how to play D&D is handy for BG3 in terms of roughly knowing what spells and things to do. So my only like foray into D&D was actually Nate was the dungeon master. So I've played a little bit, but just enough to kind of understand the basics. Like I don't know all the spell, like all the mechanics, like that kind of stuff, but I have played like once. But I will say like it is super like daunting to start playing. If you've never played D&D ever, like even me playing it once and kind of knowing some of it, like you've never played, like it is such, even creating your character is like, whoa.
Yeah, it's a lot. I play with mods and stuff too because I play on PC. And my buddy Promi, poor guy, like he got it, and I had like the difficulty mod on, and he had never played before, and he was just getting wrecked, And I was like, oh God, I'm so sorry. but playing D&D, I'm actually in a D&D game. I think we're gonna play tomorrow night, and I'm a bard. So like knowing control spells and how to isolate people out of like fights and stuff is like something that I'm used to doing, and that is so important, being able to separate enemies.
So Adam says, so me, you, Promi, and Justin, special guests go for I could be the special guest, okay? Let's see. It says being the Dark Urge character to Max also means fewer sellers due to fewer humanoids.
Yep. If you haven't played it, you wouldn't understand that. Even if you have played it and not done the Dark Urge, you wouldn't understand that. My second playthrough was the Dark Urge, and the Dark Urge is amazing, and it's like a whole different game within a game. And then like there's 2 versions of the Dark Urge that you can do, which makes it completely different as well, which is also crazy. But yeah, it's wild.
Joshua says he did get wrecked.
Blast.
I'm playing it on normal mode, and I will say, like, I get my butt kicked in the like when the big battles come, and I don't think like strategically through it enough. Like, I have to like save it and restart. But I'm just like, I'm not going to lose this. I'm going to restart until I figure out a strategy that wins.
Yeah.
Timothy says D&D is great for community building, and community is my 2024 theme word. All right, there we go. New Year's New Year's resolution type thing, build community. I like that.
Fun fact for you, Timothy. First time I ever played D&D was actually with a buddy / client of mine. Like I went on a meeting and like to learn like what he does, his company, all that stuff, right? And we started talking about D&D. Next thing I knew, we were creating a game with some people that I knew, some people that he knew, and all that. Ended up getting an MSA. Yeah, it was great. But ultimately, like D&D, I actually commissioned a drawing of my character. Like it was awesome, and I loved it. And I love D&D, and I love the community that it presents to people. And I think community is a great theme word for 2024. My wife and I, because we moved to a new city, like that is something that we are looking for, is a community here, people that we fit in with, and make new friends. Which nobody tells you how difficult it is as an adult, but it is.
Man, don't lie. You can make friends with anybody. You're just like, you were almost like on a pirate ship for 3 months. Like
God,
you could literally make friends with anyone.
I will never forgive her for that. Ever. If she ever divorces me and we have to go to court, that story will be told. Okay.
She didn't support me in all my endeavors. This is the prime example.
I don't understand. She supported me in like 99% of things. Why this one time she decided to like tell this guy that I'm not awesome in all things piracy, I don't know. But she did. And it took it. But we don't have to get into that. So, so Marchman, answer your comment. Me, Prime, Justin, yes, like we could all four play together.
Yeah, it'd be a cool thing to get in there, just like with. Do you just restart and start a whole new game together?
Yeah, you would start from the beginning with the game together. Now, if you run a multiplayer game, I can jump in at any point, right? Like you can be in the second act, and I can jump in, and all that. So that wouldn't be an issue.
So everybody making their own decisions, like I'm going to be evil, I'm not going to be evil.
Yeah, the thought of me, probably the thought of us four playing together is a nightmare, because they would kill me. I wouldn't be able to play. I would just like they would take the first turn to murder me and then proceed to like kill the bad guys, But
that's funny. It's like I just have all the protection spells so no one can hurt me.
Yeah, man, we got so off course. Also, come back next week. We'll be talking about Baldur's Gate, which will lead to D&D shenanigans. Yeah, will lead to D&D shenaniganery. I can't say that, whatever. But so come back next week for that. But Joe, so for you, like, so I guess you asked me, like, my year in reverse and kind of what I enjoyed, what I did. I did sell my house. My wife and I live in New York now. Changed jobs, went from Vaco. I actually just accepted a job. I started on Tuesday. Can't wait. Thanks, man. So this 2023 was like a year of exploration for me. Like I was tired of being tied down and just wanted to go do stuff. I didn't realize I put it like I said, a reel together, but I went to California, Nevada, freaking Utah. I went through, I lived in Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Philly, went to Delaware, New York, and then went through all of Europe. I went to Jamaica as well. We went to Wisconsin also. So like literally I was on the road more than I was at home. So
yeah, that sounds exhausting.
It was. I lost a lot of weight actually. And if I shaved, you might be able to tell, but now I just look like I'm a homeless person. So. Man. What about you, Joe? What was the highlight of your 2023?
Man, I don't know about like highlight, because I mean, again, it's a whole year, so it's hard to pinpoint one thing. I had a lot of good times, but I will say like one lesson learned that definitely sticks out is if you move, just hire the movers.
Oh, dude, yes. At a certain age, when you're 20, get in there, lift, right? Lift. But, and also like Wes, I love you. You're one of my best friends. I appreciate you every time you helped us move, but I want to apologize that, you had to help us move, because like I'm at the point now where I don't want people to ask me. I just want them to hire movers.
Yeah. Man, that's the biggest takeaway is like, just hire the movers. Never move it yourself or try to ask friends. Just we're too old for that at this point. We got Timothy says, congrats on the new job, Nate. Best wishes on it. Starting 2024 off in New York City with a new job. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it'll be my first time in an office in like 4 years, because it's hybrid. I haven't been in an office in like 4 years. I don't know what I'm doing to myself. Like I'm gonna be like chilling. it won't take long to like, Nate, we need you to stop talking to people.
We need you to like work from home,
Yeah,
so everyone else can get their work done.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I would say like moving on, like we're not like literally on the lake, but I mean, pretty much walk down the road. It's right there. But I'd say that was a huge deal because like we have a kayak that we take the kids on the weekend, stuff like that. And it's been so fun just to have like just water access, go fishing, that kind of thing. Just something to always do. It's like, hey, you're bored. What do you want to do? Just walk down to the lake and throw the kayak in and that kind of stuff. So definitely have had some good times, and we'll continue to have good times doing that for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's take a few minutes to hop into 2024. What's your New Year's resolution, Joe?
Well, and I figured you would ask this, but I do not make New Year's resolutions because I learned a long time ago that it doesn't matter what I make, I'm not going to stick to it for more than
Yep.
like 30 days. So, so that is my answer. I, I do not like New Year's resolutions because it's like, why do you have to set your goal on January 1st? Like, it doesn't make any sense and you're not going to stick to it. But
New year, new me, bro. New year, new me.
no, New Year's same me. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say.
Well,
It's
you're
New
great,
Year's
Joe.
same
That's
me.
not the case for everybody.
Right. I will say, like, I took a break from the gym like over the holidays. I gotta like get back into it. I've been trying to force myself this week, but trying to get back on schedule is rough. So next week I will get back into the gym. But I mean, taking a week and a half off, my body probably needed it anyway. I was, working out twice a day, that kind of thing, 5 days a week. So, but what about you? Do you have any New Year's resolutions that you're going to stick to or try to stick to?
So I hate it on you for it, but I don't really do resolutions either. Mostly because I'm the same way. I know I'm not gonna stick, but I did throw out a couple things more like self improvement. I cuss a lot, right? Now I do think there is a time and a place for it. I think you can appropriately emphasize a lot of things with choice curse words, but I found myself throwing them in sentences that they just didn't belong, right? It just became so ingrained and part of my everyday vernacular that it almost took away from what I was saying versus, like adding. Now I'm all about adding for emphasis and, to get your point across, but I was doing it
Like
just,
snakes on a plane.
yeah.
I mean,
I was just doing it to do it. So I want to reduce my cursing. I'm not going to stop doing it because if something needs a, well timed, God, mother, so be it. Because like your emphasis there is nice. If I'm like mother, something's happening. But and then I want to continue my steps. Like since I've gotten back from Europe, I'm still averaging 10 plus K steps a day, just taking the time. I have a under the desk treadmill. If y'all don't
okay.
have one, I recommend it. Get a standing desk. It lifts up. The treadmills, they make different sizes. They're like $200 on Amazon. They're not expensive. Literally, you can email. I can play games and walk on it. I don't because I'm not coordinated enough. I do watch anime and walk on it though. While I was watching Psycho Pass, I was walking on my treadmill. And it's just small. It slides under my bed, and then when I want it, I pull it out, walk on it, watch TV, put it back. My wife will walk on it and read. So
That's impressive. Talk about
yeah,
coordination. Just
yeah,
like holding the book up and like what?
yeah, because there's no rails or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's literally just like a flat platform, So she's like holding it and walking. I mean, she's just much more coordinated than I am. I would die doing something like that, but I can email on it. Like I've done like some like computer stuff, like all these things on YouTube. I've probably done that with. So
Timothy says, speaking of which, I need to hit the gym. I'll try to hop on next week. Feel free to connect and reach out if y'all need anything. Of course.
awesome. Thanks, Timothy. Yeah, man. I'll add you on LinkedIn for sure. But those are my kind of, I guess, resolutions, if you will. And it's not like I'm going on a diet or I'm going to lose 40 pounds. And there's none of that nonsense. It's all just self-improvement things that I want to continue doing or something that would just improve me.
Yeah.
So
And I guess like in the physical sense, like I do have a goal that I do want to run a marathon this year. And it's not like I've sometimes I'll run 12 miles like at a time. So it's not like I'm far off from doing it. I probably just could sign up and just get it out of the way. But
I'm getting winded thinking about that.
I feel like I just need to prepare a little bit before. but yeah, I think that would be like if I had a goal of like just something that seems daunting that I want to do before the end of the year. Like I guess that would be it. Just to go ahead and sign up for a marathon and just do it.
Yeah, might as well. The way you run, dude, like that would be like a Tuesday for you. You wouldn't even like care. Me, like I would die. But you, like, you're good. I could probably walk a half marathon, if they gave me all day. But that's probably about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you were putting in like 20,000 step days like on your vacation. That's like 10. Yeah,
Consistently,
that's like 10, 12 miles a day that you were
yeah,
just walking. So I mean,
consistently.
you got the
So,
car, and it wasn't just walking. You were climbing mountains and stuff, man. So like
yeah,
walking down just a paved road like in a city. That's easy stuff.
yeah. I did some of the elevation I did was wild. Dolomites, Montserrat, Google them. It's stupid. I don't know how I did it. I thought I was gonna die. I had to stop and breathe so much.
Water
Uh,
breathing,
yeah.
recovery.
Dude, when my wife hit me with that, I was so happy and proud at the same time, like it was awesome. But so Joe, let's talk about the podcast for 2024. So it is going to change a little bit because I'm going to be in the office on Thursdays now. So either we can still do it on Thursdays. I have to see how that works with my schedule, or it might be we have to do it on Fridays. If we have to move it, we'll let everybody know and all of that. But as of right now, the plan is to keep it on Thursdays, and I'll just be in the office, which not having the bed as my background would probably be a good thing. But so that's that. But also like my PC is going to be getting shipped up here. So I will have a better camera. I'll have a ring light. I won't, have such a, terrible setup. It'll look much better. I'll also like have a much more aesthetically pleasing background. You'll get to see, I will end up like highlighting like all my figures, and you'll get to see all the cool things and stuff like that. So, and we've been, talking about like an outro and just ways to improve. So if anybody listening has ways to improve other than, replacing me, which I'm sure somebody will say, we would love to hear it. We're open to anything you want to share, but mostly we want to just have fun and put out the best podcast that we can for what we want to do with it.
Yep, for sure. So yeah, like Nathan said, if anybody has any ideas or things they'd like to see, topics they'd like to talk about, anybody who wants to be a guest, like definitely reach out, let us know. Like definitely open to feedback, open to learning how to make this thing better for everyone, more fun for everyone, that kind of thing. But yeah, like I was super excited when we got the intro, so I'm probably going to be, and I still got like every time we click it and it's like boom, I'm like, yeah,
I love it too. Yeah.
So it like gets me hyped right before we start talking. So I'm excited to see like if we get an outro going, like how it'd probably be a little less awkward at the end where we're like waving, look back, guys. But I'll probably be like super hyped for that too. Like every time it plays, like, oh, now I'm hyped. Like, what do I do with my hands now that I'm hyped? Like, But yeah, man. But I know we're over time here.
I got two people waiting for me on Call of Duty.
You got two people waiting for you. I got work to do, but yeah, man. Any closing remarks for us before we end for today?
Man, it was such a good year. I just want to say thanks to all the listeners, everybody that's kind of, commented and helped us do all this. One person I want to shout out because I know he's listened to like every episode. My buddy Big Ep, I appreciate you, dude. I love the text that I get and everything like that. It always like hypes me up about everything we're doing. So I appreciate that you listen to every episode, and I appreciate just everyone in general. My wife listened to the 3.5 hour anime panel ranking episode. So like, y'all are awesome, and I appreciate y'all.
Adam says Joe is going to be a reoccurring guest, not a special guest.
Yeah. So just thank you to everyone, and I hope you all have a happy new year, and I hope you all crush it, and 2024 is the best year for everyone.
Yeah, Eb's birthday was New Year's Day. Well, happy belated birthday to Eb. And again, like Nathan said, just I hope it definitely thanks for all the listeners, all our guests for coming on, sharing their passion with us, teaching us about certain.
I've learned so much.
Yep. And I hope everyone has a great 2024. And hey, this is just the beginning. First week of 2024. Let's make it the best year yet, right?
Let's win the day, to win the week, to win the month, win the year, man.
Yep. Oh, let's end on that one. You guys rock. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Marshman. I'll holler at you in a second, buddy.
See y'all.
Oh, wait, before we go, I want to tell y'all about a story on COD that happened yesterday with Marchman. No, I'm kidding. I won't do that. He knows what I'm talking about,
Oh, cliffhanger. All right, see y'all later.
Take care. See you guys.